Hello guys, Dan here, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to do something different. I got this O-12 How to Paint pack by Angel Giraldes with the guide inside, so it contains all the colors and the miniature. So I will try to follow the guide that comes inside and paint this miniature. Show you how it looks inside. I already assembled and cleaned my miniature before, so we save some time. So this is like what it comes in the set. There is a base actually together with this, but I think I left it somewhere on the table. So we will follow this guide step by step and see how far we can do actually. Guys, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and give it a like. So let's go. So first step, what it says here, armor. The figure is primed with diluted black or using black hobby paint spray. Okay, that should be very easy. I will just airbrush it quickly, but I won't show it on the camera because this is so simple process. And voila, with the magic of editing, here we are, all primed, equal, even everywhere. So we can go to the next step. Okay, step number 2. Dark Prussian blue is applied as a base coat, leaving a uniform color throughout the miniature. Several layers are applied by brush or airbrush. Apparently on this picture that they provided, they did this with the airbrush, but we are going to do it with the brush. So because we are working over the black, I had to apply this in 3 very thin coats to have a good coverage. So in this step we are actually painting only the armor. So every single armor panel and his backpack as well. Wait for the first layer to completely dry and then go and apply the second thin coat. And then after it's still too dark or transparent and you can see black under, then after it's completely dry, apply the third coat until you have a good and even coat around all the armor panels. Step number 3. First lights are added with a flat blue, covering most of the previous color, though leaving the lower parts of the armor without the highlights. So looking at the picture here, they did this with the airbrush as well. We are going to use the brush anyway, so we were just going to paint the upper parts of the armor, which is more exposed to the light, while leaving the lower parts in the shadows. As well here, this color is transparent, so I had to apply it in 2 very thin coats around the model. So after few applications of color, I got something like this. So you can pause here if you wanna copy the same scheme I did. So we can go to the next step. With a mixture of 70% black and 30% dark Prussian blue, the gaps of the armor are painted to achieve greater definition between each plate. Since they painted everything with the airbrush, they had a lot of overspray. So as I can see on this picture, they painted like the muscles, they painted the backpack, they painted the gun. So they put everything back to this darkish gray color. so they can work from there. So let's do the same then. Okay, I'm ready for the next step. With a 50% mixture of flat blue and sky blue, more highlights are applied to provide greater volume to the armor and shape up edges of each plate. So as we can see here, they mostly done edge highlighting of all the edges on these panels that are more exposed to the light, so it looks like more of the upper portions of the armor are highlighted here. So let's do it. This is a very precise job, so pick up your most pointy or the smallest brush you have and just go slowly and draw these little lines one by one. Just no pressure, slowly. I think I took a good amount of time while I was doing this just to get good coverage, but I still made a few mistakes here and there, but it's still okay. So this is the final result I got after I highlighted all the edges. Step 6. Lastly, points of light are applied with sky blue and washes with dark Prussian blue to soften and provide greater depth to the armor. So what they did here is they put little dots on the corners of your armor panels just to simulate the reflection of the source of the light that's reflecting from the armor panels. So just go around your armor and on the corners you just put one little bright dot. So just that, nothing else. Don't pull any lines, anything, just one dot. And for the shadows you can make a wash from the dark Prussian blue and just go on the under parts of the armor and just make it a little darker. So this stage is actually to make your lights lighter and your shadows darker. So this is how it looks at the end. So a little comparison here to see does it look like the one on the picture. So close enough, I think, so I can proceed. In the next step, they say we will start working on the gold on metallic metal. They say English uniform is applied as a base coat, always in thin layers to achieve a homogeneous color. So as we can see here, they painted all these golden parts of the armor. So this is pretty simple and straightforward process. So I just painted this color in I think I used the 2 very thin coats to have a good coverage. If you don't have it with 2, apply the third one. So don't worry, just make sure that the color is even all around the model. And I have to say here that I never painted non-metallic metal in my life. So this will be officially my first attempt in achieving something like this. So this will be a good guide to see can it actually teach you something and can I achieve that effect with my basic skills. So after I blocked all colors, it's time to go to the next step. So step number 8. The color Japanese uniform World War II is added to the previous color little by little so as to produce highlights. It's very important to create flat areas of light. So what I want actually here is for us to block the areas where the light will reflect from the armor and when actually the areas where it will be in the shadows. So as I'm totally like amateur about the lights and everything, I'm just copying the art from the box and trying to block the similar areas from this guide as they blocked, and try to achieve the same effects. So this is applied in the few very thin coats. So each time I added more and more Japanese uniform color to create it brighter and try to make transitions to this color. And guys, if you have time, just find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm usually posting a lot of photos of my work there, so there'll be some photos of this guy as well if you're interested to see like some close-ups how it actually look like. So I was going all around and repeating all the steps until I reach to the something like this at the end, which I was satisfied with the look, so that I can proceed to the next step. So it was matching the picture that they provided in the guide, so I was like pretty happy, and I was like, okay, let's go next one and see how it will turn out. It says final highlights are applied with ice yellow to create shyness. Lastly, a mixture of 50% black and English uniform is applied. Add shadows to the gold. So as we can see here, they bright all the lights brighter and all the shadows darker from the lights that we previously established in the previous step. So let's try to do the same. So I will start with the ice yellow, and I will go on all the lighter areas that I previously marked, and then I start making them even more lighter. And then I will do on some of the parts just the very thin edge highlight, just to make it even more lighter. I have to let you know that this technique is a super difficult one to achieve, and it requires a lot of practice, and you won't be able to have like amazing results like from the first try, maybe not even after like a 5th or 10th try, but after like keep trying it and have understand how the light works, everything like will come into the place, and then you will start having a good results at the end. So just the technique that requires a lot of practice at the end. This was my result that I was happy, and I stopped there with applying the lights. So now I will do the thing about they said about the shadows. So I mixed the 50% black with the English uniform, and I went to the same armor panels, but now the parts that are left in the shadows, and I just little enhanced those shadows to be a little darker. So they use the totally same process as they did before, so making all your lights brighter and all your shadows darker, just to create the big contrast, so it looks really nice. I think it's really striking effect. Next step is the gray fabric. They say small quantities of ice yellow are added to a black to illuminate this area. So as we can see, they painted like the muscles on the arms and on the knees as well. As I can see here, they highlighted the gun as well. As we can see on the previous picture, it's not highlighted. So mixture of these two colors actually will make some dark gray effect. So I will mix everything on my wet palette, and then I will start applying this on the most raised areas of the muscles. And when it comes to highlighting the gun, I just did the edge highlight on every single sharp edge of that gun. Step number 11 is arms. Blue-green is applied as a base coat with subtle brush strokes and allowing for drying time between layers of color. So here you have like two options to paint this. You can do it like as I did here, like I didn't do the subtle brush strokes, I just took the paint and like I really painted it good, so all the brush go inside the recesses. And as well you can do like a subtle strokes with your brush when it will like go like a little like a dry brush, and then it will create in the recesses you will still have the black as your shadows. See here on the back of his left and right leg are two different techniques. So one is with the more paint and the second one is with the less paint. But everything will get equalized more or less in the next step, so any method is good. More highlights are applied with ice yellow, and it is recommended not to add much water to the color, because if it is too diluted it will flow into the grooves. So they want us more or less just to use the paint straight from the bottle and just paint the most raised areas of the arms just to create the highlights, and on the legs as well. So this is actually what I did, just a very little paint on my brush. I removed most of the paint from the brush actually, and then just highlighted all the most raised areas just to create the lights. Step 13. Finally, the glazes are applied with flat blue to provide the arms with depth. In this instance, the paint should be more diluted to flow into the wrinkles. So they want us here to create a glaze. So I added this paint to my wet palette and add a lot of water to it until I had a consistency of something like this. So it's really transparent. And then I glazed all over the arms. Like everything that we painted with this color, I glazed it. So it created really nice shadows to the paint we already did. So the next step is starting with the base color, black. Small quantities of English uniform are applied as highlights and painted in lines in order to recreate textures in the letter. Lastly, a little bit of ice yellow is applied to provide the ridges with more color. So actually what they did here is they did the edge highlighting on all the backpacks and the pouches, and on the corners they applied little yellow, and then they pulled little lines to create like a worn leather effect. But alas, here my camera got overheated and I lost all the footage of doing this, and you will see later there was some more side effects because I think I was painting this for like 6 or 7 hours constantly. But let's go to the next step, and then you will see in that step how I painted the actual letter. And wait, there is no next step in this guide, so we have to paint the face, guys, and there is nothing here about painting the face. They actually didn't provide any guidance of painting the face. So if you have a model that contains a helmet, this will be okay, but if you have the face, then oops, sorry. Anyway, guys, don't worry about it. I will still show you how to paint the face on this guy. So I will base his face with the Bugmans Glow. Here you see that his face is quite yellowish. I actually tried to mix the colors that they came with this set to try to make some good color for his face, so that you are actually able to use that set to paint his face. But actually I was not able to do it. Actually all what I was getting was some yellow tones, so actually I was not happy, so I decided to use my colors from my collection. So just apply one or two very thin coats of the Bugmans Glow just to paint all his face. And for his hair I used the Rhinox Hide, but this is totally optional and up to you, so paint his hair whatever color you want. And as well use the matching color to paint his facial hair, so his eyebrows and mustachios as well. After everything get dried, I used the Reikland Fleshshade and washed the whole head, so both hair and face. Just be careful not to have your color pull up in your eye sockets. So if you see the pulling there, just dry up your brush and collect the excess paint. After the wash is dried, use the Cadian Fleshtone to start highlighting the face and just cover the like 80% of the previous color, just leaving all the shadows intact here. And here I need to apologize to you guys, because this is what happens when my camera overheats. It totally becomes desaturated and lose all the contrast. So I noticed this only during the edit, so it was already too late to do the repairs, so I'm sorry for this one more time. And our final highlight for the face will be done with the Kislev Flesh. So here only the most raised points of the face will be highlighted, like the nose, lips, just his cheeks, top of the ears and the forehead as well. For the hair, I use the Gorthor Brown, so you can dry brush this, or you can take a little paint on your brush and then draw every single like piece of hair. I use like something in between and just highlighted the most raised areas of his hair, just to have like a really cool effect. Now for the eyes, I will show you one trick that I always do. So I paint the whole inside of the eye sockets with white. So it doesn't matter which white you use, any brand is fine. So just fill it up and have an even coat. Just be careful not to go on the places on the face that we already painted. And now, after the white is dried, take the dark tone wash and just wash inside the eye sockets. Just a little, you don't need to put too much wash, just to have like a nice shape of those eyes. And after everything is properly dried, just take a black and put a single black dot in the middle of the eye to create the iris, and it will be perfect. It always works and it's always good look. So here at this point I realized why they didn't put the guide how to paint the face, because we used almost the same amount of colors only for the head, while we used the equal amount of colors to the rest of the body. So this is it. I just transferred him to a simple base that I quickly made just for the display, and this model is completed. I hope you guys get the answer from the title of this video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like, and if you have any comments, please make them below, and I will try to give my best to answer it. So this is all for now. Take care and bye bye.